Dana was real cool with Catherine. Every single time Catherine would lose one of these babies, she would always go to Dana for comfort. And Dana would comfort her. Oh, c'est dommage, ou baka fait petit, l'on fait petit, yo mouri. It sucks that you can't have a child. And then when you have a child, you know, these two pass away. Like, damn, you know, you should really pray more, you know, stuff like that. You know, priez, priez, bon Dieu, bon petit. God will give you a child. Meanwhile, Dana is eating the baby. I'm the Mademoiselle, and ça c'est deuxième Chanel moi. And honestly, the heater is like right outside this window, so let me just go turn that off real quick and you guys absolutely love these videos on my channel, but let me just say that these are kind of hard to do because when I do these, there are certain things I just can't say. I have to describe a lot of things. So yeah, so before we get into this video, you have to kind of know what a Lougawou is, okay? We're gonna be talking about the time a Lougawou was arrested in my neighborhood, okay? So for reference, you should watch my Lougawou video. For those of you guys who want to know what a Lougawou is, I'm not going to spend too much time explaining it. Please watch my Lougawou video. And also, if you guys kind of want like a translation or something that might be similar, there are certain things in the United States or in other countries that people call shapeshifters or night or skinwalkers that can be compared to a Lougawou. But honestly, I feel like a Lougawou is a Lougawou. Also, I feel like in Louisiana, they call them LOUPGAROUS. There's different names for them. But honestly, I don't think anything compares too much to a Haitian Lougawou. All right, so Lougawous are something that have been around for honestly centuries, all right? And as I've talked about so many times on this channel, most of the time people are turned into Lougawous in Haitian voodoo culture for doing really bad deeds in life. An Ogon or a Mumbo may turn someone into a Lougawou for literally being an ain't shit person. I'm not gonna say it's a good thing. I'm not gonna say it's a bad thing. However, when it comes to voodoo or alternative religions, magic, whether we're talking about white magic or black magic, all of that is here to balance out the world, okay? This is why when you do magic for bad or when you do things for selfish purposes, they will always bounce back onto you in a very negative manner. You should never do things to people or for yourself in selfish needs. You should never go asking a loi, an orisha, a deity, a spirit, an angel, a demon, or whatever the case may be for anything just for yourself or, you know, any type of vengeance when you know you're in the wrong, because more than likely it's going to backfire on you. So when it comes to, you know, Ogons, Mumbos, or Buckwars turning people into Lougawous, more than likely it's because that person did something extremely bad in life. These people more than likely were touching children. They were habitual liars, habitual thieves. They were just not the most upstanding people in society. Again, I'm not agreeing with this. I'm not saying I will do the same. I'm just trying to get you guys to understand exactly how people typically become Lougawous. You can also become a Lougawou by not keeping up your deal with an Ogon, Mumbo, or Buckwar, or with a loi. So there's many different ways people become Lougawou. Few characteristics you need to understand. They cannot be out in the daytime without their skin. If they're out of their skin, they will die. If there's salt on their skin while they're out of their skin, they cannot get back into it. There's only certain people that can really kill them, which is like a Mumbo, a Buckwar, an Ogon, and it's very important to also understand that they go predominantly after babies. The younger the better. But a lot of things that people don't understand with the whole Lougawou thing is that Lougawous are not just in Haiti. A lot of people migrated to the US, Canada, France, and so many other countries thinking that, oh, bagay sayo, ou pa joindre l'autre côté, ou pa joindre aux États-Unis, you're not gonna find these things anywhere but Haiti. But they were so wrong. Now, I've done maybe 2 other story times about Lougawou, so today we're going to be talking about the time they caught a Lougawou in my neighborhood and they basically tried to arrest said Lougawou, all right? So y'all already know I grew up on J Park, so some of you guys who grew up on J Park may remember this story. It did not happen too long ago. I still lived there with my parents at the time that this story happened, so I might be changing up some details, but it should remain very similar. Yeah, so hopefully the victims of this story don't come across this video, because to be honest, I ain't really talking shit. Facts are facts. So this lady came to town. She did come from Haiti. She was a just come. She didn't really speak much English. Now, this lady, we're just gonna call her, we might have to give her a name. We're gonna call her Dana. Okay, so Dana came from Haiti. She was essentially from, oh, we're honestly gonna lie about where she was from. We're gonna say she was from Akaya. Now, a lot of people might sit there and be like, oh, why would you give her that town? Because a lot of people know that a lot of people from Akaya, that's the voodoo people. Listen, there's a lot of voodoo towns in Haiti, so I ain't even try to come at y'all, okay? One of my best friends is from Akaya. I love my Akaya people, okay? But essentially, let's just say Dana was from Akaya, and she basically didn't have much family. It was her husband. She didn't have any kids. She didn't have any other family. It was just her husband, and they lived in a building very close to me. So it was like my building, there was a building behind me, and then you cross the street, and then there was a house, and then there was a building there. So she lived in that building right there. So it was a good little distance. I would see her sometimes. I'm pretty sure I've seen her at the doctor's office a few times, but like I didn't necessarily interact with her. So Dana had a neighbor named, we're gonna name her Catherine. Catherine was a very nice lady, honestly. Like, I felt like a lot of people liked her. She had a couple of friends here and there. She was in the country a little bit longer. She was also a just come. All she really did was work and come home, from what I understand. Again, I didn't really interact with her, but that's what people would tell me. I know people that knew her. I knew people that interacted with her, but she also just came to the country. It was also her and her husband, but she also had like a grownish kid. Like, her kid was already like 12 or something. But one thing to note about Catherine is Catherine had about 2 or 3 miscarriages. And then she had 2 babies that were born within the past year or so that died extremely young. Like, I'm talking about a month or 2 out. And they died under very mysterious circumstances, and no one could ever tell her why. Editing me here, so I forgot to mention the 2 first babies were twins, and they died of a mysterious illness that nobody knew about. I'm talking about got a fever and died. And when it comes to Lougawou and them killing babies, they almost always die of a fever. It's almost never anything else. Sometimes it's like another random illness, but it's almost always a fever. So keep that in mind. Now, that's very, very important to the story. One thing you guys have to understand before continuing this video, if you guys don't know about Lougawou, is that Lougawou have to live off of baby blood. And the younger, the better. Which means they have to kill the baby in order to get that baby's blood. Most of the time, they strike the nearest baby with a sickness so they can take the baby and feast on the baby. If you don't know, now you know. It's very sinister, it's very disgusting, and it's very disturbing. All over Haiti, people are constantly killing Lougawou or suspected Lougawou when they're losing babies, or like there's people like going through very suspicious circumstances. Lougawou are not tolerated in any Haitian community. And it's sad because more than likely, if someone becomes a Lougawou, it's not really their fault. But what did I just tell y'all in the beginning of this video? If you've been turned into a Lougawou, it's because you was in some shit. Like, you was in some dealings that you shouldn't have been in the first place. So if you guys don't catch what's happening right now, you should catch what's happening right now. Dana was real cool with Catherine. Every single time Catherine would lose one of these babies, she would always go to Dana for comfort. And Dana would comfort her. Oh, c'est dommage, ou pas qu'à faire petit, l'on fait petit, yo mouri. It sucks that you can't have a child. And then when you have a child, you know, these two pass away. Like, damn, you know, you should really pray more, you know, stuff like that. You know, priez, priez, bon Dieu, a bon petit. God will give you a child. Meanwhile, Dana is eating the babies, okay? Dana is a Lougawou. Dana is literally flying in the night, eating these children, all right? Because that's what Lougawou do. Lougawou shed their skin at night, go out killing babies to drink their blood. So this whole time, she's being a fake ass bitch and stealing, killing, drinking her neighbor's baby's blood. Sinister shit, crazy shit. So here's how she got caught. Catherine gets pregnant again. Goes to the hospital, has this baby, and it's interesting because with this baby, this one lasted a little bit longer. This baby probably lasted like a good 6 months or so until, again, mysteriously passed away. She is mortified. I'm talking about like borderline has to get put in a psych ward type shit because like, come on, bro. 2 miscarriages. Now she has 3 dead babies. You know, y'all already know the state's starting to look at her like she nuts because it's like, bro, how the hell you got three babies that have passed away in the past like 2 to 3 years? Like, it's not looking good, bro. Like, how all these babies passing away, right? So mind y'all, I'm already telling you guys that I'm kind of mixing some details around because, you know, privacy reasons. But nonetheless, Catherine ends up going to an Ogon. The Ogon goes and tells her like, hey, you have a Lougawou near you. And I don't know how to tell you this, but you've been communicating with this Lougawou. But don't worry, I got something for this Lougawou. This Lougawou will never be able to touch anybody ever again. So fast forward, she gets pregnant again. She has a baby. Now this Ogon sets a trap for this Lougawou. Now, what did I say? When it comes to Lougawou, they shed their skin, they go out looking for babies, blah, blah, blah. But on top of that, they can't go back into their skin if they can't find it. Or, I've said in my previous videos, especially my Lougawou video, if there's salt on it, or if like a Oga, a Mumbo, or a Buckwar does something to the skin. Like, there's spiritual ways to get rid of it, obviously, but there's other ways to get rid of it as well. So this Oga did something to where, you know, he found the Lougawou in the middle of the night, y'all. Found the Lougawou in the middle of the night, and basically they poured salt over the Lougawou's skin. They were shocked that it was this lady, so they found out it was Dana in the middle of the night while Dana was out basically trying to go and find the baby. But at this point, the baby was already out. Like, they put the baby like with a family member somewhere far away. She tried to go find the baby. Okay, so yes, you guys are probably wondering like, wait, hold up. So at this point, Dana got no skin and she running around. Kid y'all not, this is a very true story. This is crazy because like in my neighborhood, this was like a WhatsApp story, bro. Like, this was all over WhatsApp. It was chat, it was on local Facebook. So Dana's out here trying to find this baby. The Ogon's out here basically salting her skin. You guys probably wonder like, where's her husband? I'm gonna get to that. So they salt her skin or whatever so she can't come back into the skin. So at this point, she's trying to run back into her skin. Now they run back and they see her. Okay, they see her. Now they're calling the cops. My thing is, I'm like, hold up. Y'all called the cops on a Lougawou? Yes, y'all. They called the cops on the Lougawou. So at this point, cops are on the way. Now, if you guys have ever heard anything about what a Lougawou sound like when they can't get back in their skin, it doesn't sound pretty. So Lougawou have to get back into their skin by sunlight. They can't catch the sun by the time they have to put their skin back on. Because if they do, they die. They have to put their skin back on and they cannot touch the sun. So now you got this Lougawou Dana just heaving. Okay? They're calling the cops. This whole shit is going to shit. Now her husband comes in from work. Her husband worked overnight. He is shook. Now you guys probably like, well, how the fuck he didn't know he was sleeping with Lougawou? Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But from what I understand, he was too stunned to speak. He didn't know what the fuck was going on. He's like, what the fuck is going on? Da-da-da. There's like, oh, your wife's a Lougawou. Your wife's a Lougawou. This whole thing is going crazy. Whole building's like, what the fuck is going on? So then she runs. Okay, Dana runs because the sun's about to come up. She has to seek darkness. Nobody knows where the fuck she goes. Cops come, and from what I understand, the skin is like disintegrated because they poured salt on it, and eventually they did find her. But like, I think they said they found her like on the park or something. I'm not even sure. So they arrested her with no skin. Yes, y'all. They arrested her with no skin. And you guys are probably listening to this like, this is the most craziest crock-a-cock I've ever. No. Shockingly, this happens pretty often in the US with like Lougawou sitting here, killing neighbors' babies, killing friends' babies, killing family members' babies, and people didn't even know they were Lougawou. Like, you would never know that someone close to you is a Lougawou because it's something that they're not supposed to tell people, something that Haitians don't really tolerate, and it's something that is very, very frowned upon. Like, nobody wants a Lougawou around their baby. Like, come on now. Like, because they have to eat babies in order to survive. Like, they have to drink their blood, you know? So more than likely, if you have someone in your life that's Lougawou, you would more than likely never, ever know. From what I understand, the police department was extremely distraught. They did not know what to do. They were, yeah, apparently it was a very frightful sight. People were all over it. People were recording this shit. So apparently there's video floating around. I clearly don't have it. There's video floating around of like a skinless woman. I swear to God, y'all, a skinless woman. I did see it back in the day, but there's video around of a skinless woman. I don't know how. It's weird because I'm like, so they put cuffs on a skinless woman. Like, I heard she was kind of like dying at the time when they put cuffs on her, but she wasn't necessarily dead. So yeah, they basically tried to arrest a skinless woman, which don't make no goddamn sense. But she died shortly after. You know, the coroner came, got her, because she cannot survive in the daylight. By the time everything happened, for real, it was like probably like 7, 8 a.m. Like, this whole ordeal took place from like maybe like from sun up, where like, so probably like started at like 4 a.m. and then went into like 8 a.m. when everybody was like around trying to take pictures and going to like try to get the tea or whatever. So honestly, it's crazy because like my parents told me all about it after. Then I went outside and my friends told me about it, and I was like, there was a Lougawou here and y'all didn't try to kill this Lougawou. Like, well, I mean, apparently, clearly we didn't know. But like most of the time, there's a lot of Haitians that are gifted that have a sixth sense. One thing about me, I know I don't have that sixth sense when it comes to Lougawou. But honestly, when it comes to that lady, Dana, I've never really seen her. I've only seen Catherine. But shout outs to Catherine. Shout outs to her child. Her child is pretty grown now. If I'm not mistaken, that kid gotta be like, I don't know, like 7, 8 now. I don't even know. I haven't seen that kid in a long time. But yeah, it was a very crazy story. It was a very crazy story. It was one of those very disturbing ones. And that's not even one of the only. Like I said, it happens a lot. I remember I did the story about the Lougawou that tried to kill my friend's babies and was like at the windows and shit. Like, it's something that's very, very common. So with that being said, comment down below, have you ever had a Lougawou story time in your neighborhood? Because like I said, it's not too far-fetched. I hope you guys enjoyed this story. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, do all that, and I'm gonna see y'all next time.